Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. We are still working our way through the events of this weekend. The unfortunate murder of a Euclid police officer. Officer Jacob Derbin had been with the force less than a year when he showed up to a disturbance Saturday night at just before 10 o'clock. According to the Ohio Attorney General, he was ambushed by a suspect, shot. He would later die in the hospital. He would not survive. There are a number of questions and information that's coming out today throughout the weekend. Of course, the suspect was found dead yesterday after a standoff and a shootout. They are still working to determine, did he take his own life? Was he shot in the course of that standoff with the SWAT team in Shaker Heights? We'll wait for information on that. Some people have asked, what is a blue alert? They may have seen signs on the highway. They may have seen stories come out of the media talking about a blue alert that was issued late Saturday night into Sunday. And for more on that, we're going to bring in the chief of Newburgh Heights, John Majoy. We are bringing in Chief Majoy as an expert in the field of alerts. He is the head of the Northeast Ohio Amber Alert Committee, and there is sort of a pattern in the state of Ohio. There are a number of different alerts that can go out. There's a different criteria for each one. Chief, thank you for spending some time with us. How are you today?
Doing well, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Under the circumstances, it's tough for all law enforcement, really the entire state of Ohio, having to deal with all of this. First off, can you rattle off, of course, you're the head of the Northeast Ohio Amber Alert. We're pretty well versed on what Amber Alerts are for. For abductions only. They're not for runaways. They're for cases of abduction. People are familiar with getting an Amber Alert on their phone. What other kind of alerts are there in the state of Ohio?
So there's three other types of alerts. The second one's called an endangered missing alert, which is essentially all the same criterion for an Amber Alert. The only difference is that there wasn't an abduction that took place. In other words, if there's a child that's missing that needs their seizure medication or something like that, and that individual cannot be found, then we would go ahead and issue the endangered alert. And the only difference between an endangered and an Amber Alert is the wireless emergency activation, which is breaking in on the cellular devices, and also the emergency activation system, which breaks in on radio and television. However, there are still a number of other means to get the word out through social media and news outlets, which is good. And then we have what's called a silver alert, or an endangered adult missing, which is basically over 65 or mentally handicapped or physically handicapped. That there's the same type of information out there that person is missing and that they are endangered to some degree. And then the last one is what we had over the weekend, which is called a blue alert. And this is when a police officer is either injured or killed in the line of duty, and there is a suspect who is at large, and there is enough credible information to notify the public and seek the public's assistance in locating this suspect, but also for warning the public, because there could be an armed and dangerous citizen out there, which we saw was the case over the weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's absolutely what this case was. When we start talking about a blue alert, do blue alerts go out to phones? Should people be saying, well, I didn't get a blue alert, I live in Cuyahoga County, or are they different systems from Amber Alerts?
It's a different system where it will go out over social media, it'll go out over news outlets. However, you can go to the Ohio Attorney General's website and you can sign up for these. And there is a way as an individual or a business where you can have that blue alert sent to you by way of email, by text message, or even fax, depending on if it's a business. Obviously, they might want to get a fax or even a text message for individuals. But this is something that you have to sign up for. And I would encourage everybody to do this. These are so rare, they don't happen very often, fortunately, similar to Amber Alerts. But when they do go out, it's basically saying to the public, we need your help.
And let's expand on that. What is the importance of a blue alert? It's more than just driving on the highway and seeing the signs over our highways, generally giving us a description of possibly a suspect or a vehicle. What is it that it can help? Why is a blue alert, when it goes out, so important, and what can it help law enforcement do?
Well, it takes the public and it utilizes them as our biggest asset, as the eyes and ears. And Similar to any other alert, the public is our biggest asset. And so by getting that information out there, regardless of the method, we want individuals to speak up if they see something, if they have some information about the case. They saw a vehicle that was matching the description or the individual, whatever that case may be, we urge them to call. Kind of goes along the lines, see something, say something kind of campaign. But also in a case like this, as put out by the Euclid Police Department the other night, we have a seriously armed, endangered individual who is a threat to public safety. And so we want to protect everyone, not exclusively just law enforcement, but everybody out there, which was the case here.
Chief, we want to send our condolences to all of the women and men who wear the uniform. It is a night like Saturday night that puts it into perspective for all of us and how dangerous the job is that you folks do out there. So we do send our condolences to all of the law enforcement. We certainly appreciate the explanation on the different alerts in the state. Thanks for joining us today, Chief. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the condolences. It's a really tough week, and thanks for getting the priority story out there. It's really important that the public know this, so we appreciate that as well.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. We're going to wrap this up again. It was just one of those issues people were asking, well, what's a blue alert around Northeast Ohio? May have seen the road signs, may have seen it on social media. Just a chance for us to explain to people what it is and why it is so important. If we have any other breaking news, and we understand that there is potentially going to be a procession leading the young officer's body from the medical examiner's office to the family's chosen funeral home. We are working on details. When we get that solidified, more than likely to show respect, we will stream that. Obviously, when funeral arrangements are solidified, very often people are asked to line the route from the funeral to the cemetery. And so we will make sure that we have all of that information and we get that out so that this man's family and this man who served the community can be honored in the way that was fitting for his short time as a Euclid police officer. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be here on our digital properties. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.